Remember when the Fortnite lobby looked like this instead of this, and the item shop looked like this instead of this? And remember when the map looked like this instead of this? I want to pose an argument in this video. Fortnite has become overcomplicated, oversaturated, overcluttered, and has strayed far away from what made it popular in the first place. And no, I'm not going to sit here and ramble on about how OG Fortnite had no sweats, and it was easy, and it was better. Because in fact, some of my favorite seasons have been released recently. I'm making this video to discuss why I, and many others, believe Fortnite just doesn't feel the same anymore, where they've gone wrong, and how they can fix it. Of course, this video is just my opinion, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get into it. So, I need to preface something before I get into the details of this argument. Firstly, I'm not saying that new content equals bad. That's absolutely not the case, and with the growth of a game comes changes and innovations. While it's inevitable, the quality and intentions behind these changes is what makes or breaks a game for me. At its core, Fortnite is still the same game, right? You drop into a map with 99 players, find loot around the map, and the last person standing wins. But let's just take the lobby for example. Look at how incredibly cluttered, ugly, and hard to navigate and just messy the UI is. There's so much unnecessary stuff here that just doesn't need to be here. The old UI never needed to change, and the new one just creates more confusion. The same is the case with the item shop, and while I won't argue that more skins in the item shop is nice for the consumer, and of course a smart business move, there's something to be said about the old item shop and the novelty of checking every day for the new skin and dance that came out. Now, there's so many cosmetics in the item shop that there's barely anything rare anymore. In general, there's so many cosmetics in Fortnite that it's almost mind-blowing. There are over 1,800 skins in Fortnite, as well as over 850 emotes, and at this point, most of it just feels like watered-down content. And while some of you may argue that it's just nostalgia talking, I truly do believe that these aspects of the game were better years ago than they are now. And in terms of gameplay, I also believe Fortnite has taken a step back. Of course, the first thing I need to mention is building, and there's no denying that the building landscape of Fortnite has changed drastically. The below average player who plays Fortnite builds now would, in my opinion, probably be a high tier build player years ago. Of course, that's natural, right? With the game being out for longer, players have more time to master mechanics and get better. But what I'm saying here is that public Fortnite lobbies are ridiculously sweaty. And I mean it. I find my public lobbies, besides being filled with bots, feel sweatier than my ranked lobbies. And I know what people are going to say. Bro, if you can't build, just go play no build to get better, bro. And while yes, no builds does solve the issue of every person being a master architect, there's no denying that Fortnite has become increasingly sweaty over the last couple of years. And at least for myself, there's no casual Fortnite anymore. I'm either shooting fake AI players all game or sweating. I also briefly want to touch on the map as well, because I feel like in the last 6 to 7 years, Fortnite has failed to make a map as good as the one we saw in Chapter 1. I feel as though the current maps have become overly complicated, with AI bosses everywhere, regular AI enemies roaming the map, an entire island spawning halfway through the game, an entire train system, which, albeit, is actually a good addition, but bunkers that randomly open whenever they feel like it, etc., that type of stuff. And in my opinion, the biggest culprit of complication in Fortnite is by far the attachment system. Remember the days when you could just pick up a shotgun without it having a 1.2 times scope and a grip and a laser and a muzzle on it? In my opinion, I believe attachments are probably one of the worst things added to Fortnite, and I definitely think that this is going to be a hot take. While I get that it adds variety and lets users kit out a weapon to how they like, it has slowed down the entire looting process and now pretty much forces players to create meta versions of these weapons, right? A whole layer of balancing issues that is just not needed. Besides, look, there's only 3 or 4 actually useful attachments to use where you'll actually notice a sufficient enough difference. And of course, while I'm speaking of meta, let's discuss what Fortnite is trying to do with the metaverse. Now, I saw a TikTok the other day that said if you go to the career page on Epic Games' website, you'll see a prompt that tells you to join the metaverse at Epic Games. And Fortnite has become just that. Fortnite is no longer a battle royale game. It's a Lego game, and a racing game, and a music game, etc. Look, these changes are good, but you can't help but feel that it takes away from what Fortnite was, a battle royale game, and that's all. I feel as though Fortnite has run into a bit of an identity crisis. What is the game trying to be? Is it trying to be a shooter, a sandbox, a puzzle game, an arcade style game? I think by trying what I'll call kind of the Roblox approach and trying to dip a toe in every single sector, Fortnite is spreading itself extremely thin, and I think this creates an identity crisis. Of course, there's nothing wrong with having multiple offerings for players, and in fact, that's encouraged and increases the replayability of the game. My argument is that by doing this, it takes away from the identity of Fortnite, which for half a decade was a battle royale game. I also felt that I should briefly touch on the storyline of the game, because while not many people care, it's actually an important aspect of the game and a prime example of complicating things that never needed to be. Yes, the Fortnite storyline has always been a mess of confusing characters, time travel, different realities, etc. But remember when the storyline was simply just a mysterious figure that landed on the island and set off a rocket launch? I'd much rather prefer the storylines from seasons 4 through 10 than what we have now, which is just such a disaster that I can't even begin to explain what's going on. And that's coming from somebody who has followed, or at least attempted to follow, the story of Fortnite for the last 7 years. Also, speaking of the rocket launch, what happened to live events? They were such an awesome part of the game that just disappeared, only to be seen once or twice a year. Furthermore, what happened to LTMs? Why are we getting rid of core aspects of what made Fortnite Fortnite? Look, while I've basically spent the entirety of this video bashing the current state of Fortnite, I actually do believe that Fortnite is still a fun game. And of course, it's not what it used to be, but it never will be. Those memories will always be there, and that's the great thing about video games. There's always a new chance to make a new memory. I'll never be 14 years old again without a responsibility in the world playing Fortnite for hours on end. But I feel like if Fortnite continues to clutter things and make more business decisions rather than decisions for the benefit of the player, the game could see some trouble. Fortnite will always be ridiculously popular, and there's a reason for that. The core gameplay is still enjoyable, and while I do disagree with some of the changes Epic Games has made in the past, there's a reason why this game has stayed relevant and will continue to for decades. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like and a sub, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Every day I read through them and try my best to answer as many as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.